Hi guys, future moms, anybody interested in pregnancy in France? I am officially 2/3 of the way through my pregnancy, so I feel like that alone deserves a flute of something very sparkly and transparent and bubbly, but I'm not drinking the good stuff until the babe has made her appearance here, so I will have to settle with some sparkling water and a splash of grenadine, which is not exactly the same, but I am the newest expert on the block about second trimester symptoms of pregnancy. If you haven't caught my first trimester video, I've got the link below, which goes over some of the common symptoms of first trimester pregnancy. I must preface this video in the same way that my doctor says to me every month, because yes, in France, this poor man has to see me every month when I come in with my long list of questions, and he says, no pregnancy is the same for two women, even the same woman who's been pregnant twice. It's not the same. You should maybe slow down on all the forums you're reading. And I'm like, wait a minute. We're talking about my mental health here. I have to have my forums. It's the only way that I know that one day my cankles will return to normal size and fit back into my boots, or the massive knockers I've all of a sudden got will go back down in size and fit into my bras. But he is right in saying that no two women will experience pregnancy the same, but I'm hoping, since I'm going over the 5 most common symptoms of pregnancy in the second trimester, that at least you can relate to one of them. And if you can't, then hopefully you get a good laugh to keep you going. Remember, no mother ever says that it's not worth it. You will most likely see a relief in frequent urination as your uterus will rise away from the pelvic cavity. Blah, blah, blah. I'm calling a bit of BS. I was fooled into thinking that something might change a little bit in terms of these really regular potty breaks. I would say that for me, nothing changed. It just got even worse. I think maybe I waddled a little bit less to the bathroom during the day, so it was a little bit easier at work, but at night, I was getting up at least twice a night to go to the restroom. And the worst thing is we live in this tiny Parisian apartment where our bed takes up the entire room. So when I sleep next to the window, I have to crawl over my husband to get out of bed. So it's the middle of the night. I'm trying to use these non-existent abs that I don't have anymore to pull myself up and then over him, and I'm groaning and it's dark out and it's just kind of a pain. I personally have had absolutely no relief. I would say that the amount that you have to go to the bathroom has just slowly inclined throughout all of pregnancy, and I've seen no relief. So if you happen to be one of the future moms out there that does see a bit of relief, awesome, but don't expect that it's a given. You may see an increase in discharge. I think if any pregnant woman was talking about this one, they would probably unanimously vote to change the "you may see an increase" into "it will become a waterfall." I know it's not the most fun one to talk about, but I want to be completely honest in this article that unlike the possible pee gods, where maybe you're one of the people that actually sees a decrease in the amount you have to go to the bathroom, I don't think the discharge gods are holding back on anybody. I just went out and bought panty liners to wear every single day. Otherwise, I was hanging out in a moist pair of underwear the whole day, and I don't know anybody who wants to feel like they've got a semi-wet swimsuit on the entire day while they're sitting in work meetings, trying to pay attention to the passive-aggressive comments being thrown every way, but secretly wondering if anyone can see from the outside the dilemma that's going on the inside. So I would just say, do yourself a favor when you get into the second trimester and just go out and buy some panty liners, and you will be a lot more comfortable. Due to an increase in blood, your gums may be more sensitive. If you mean that every single time I brush my teeth, and I do that after teeth brush snarl to see if everything's clean, or you go like this, that I'm supposed to look like a vampire post-meal, then yes, my gums are much more sensitive. Ladies, I have personally been lucky to have a pretty solid dental record. I had lots of braces, and I definitely had some cavities, but nothing major and never any sensitive gums. And every single time I brush my teeth, I look like the newest member of the Addams family. There's just a lot of blood. No matter how gentle I am, it's still a bloody grin. And I did even take advantage of the stellar healthcare we have in France, and you have a free 4-month checkup when you're pregnant with the dentist. So I went to my checkup and I explained all my problems, and the dentist said, "Madam, this is normal. You need to be very gentle when you brush your teeth." So I am still very gentle when I brush my teeth. You would think I was bathing my newborn. I'm so gentle. And I still have a waterfall of blood. So don't be surprised if this happens to you. And if you're pregnant right now, I was thinking, since it's over Halloween, maybe I could somehow incorporate this into a costume. If you've got any ideas, comment below. So leg cramps are common and may strike during the night. I admit to not being the best hydrator throughout my whole life. I think my motto could have been like, hell no H2O. So I was actually introduced to leg cramps at quite an early age. I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd have a Charlie horse, and it would get so bad that I'd want to go tell my parents, so I'd stand up to run into their room, and that's when I'd realize that actually standing on my muscle would kind of relax it and then the pain would go away. So I was already preparing for pregnancy life at 12. But no one really knows why pregnancy cramps happen so often. There's not really an explanation for them, but from what I can understand from all of the forums that I'm reading, this happens to a lot of women, and it really happens during the night. And I think it's because, you know, sleep starts to get really more uncomfortable in the second trimester. And I don't know if you ladies like to do like that really full stretch where you stretch your entire body out. But that full stretch means that you're really stretching your leg and your calf muscles out, and normally they start to kind of contract and cramp up. So I would say my advice would be to save those like full body stretches when you're not in bed, because those are the first thing that are going to start a really bad cramp. Be prepared for changes to your belly button. This one's almost my favorite one. It's just such a really like soft and nice way to say it. And maybe it is just some changes for some women, but my belly button literally could have its own zip code now. It pushed out in the second trimester, and it really had a life of its own. It really beats to the same rhythm as the baby who's beating on my uterus. It goes up and down. Sometimes it looks like it's breathing. I could spend a lot of time just staring at my belly button. It has definitely become a creature of its own. It's pretty harmless, so it's not that big of a deal. I would say that sometimes, mine really sticks out far enough that it can get irritated by certain fabrics. So sometimes if I really know that it's gonna get irritated during the day, or I'm just tired of it, I stick a little Band-Aid on it and keep it hidden for the day. But the best part is that I've heard it never actually goes back to normal. So they say things like, it looks like it's been lived in. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? So I don't know what it means obviously yet, and I will report back, but don't be so surprised if your belly button really, really takes on like a life of its own. When they say that you might see some changes, I think you can see some big changes, and you shouldn't be too worried about it. So in all transparency, the second trimester has been my favorite of pregnancy. I really got a lot of my energy back. I started to have my old routine back again. This was a time where I really could tell people that we were pregnant. So even if I was suffering from really bad heartburn or I had a bad migraine, at least I could tell people about it. And of course, the second trimester is so fun because the baby starts kicking for the first time. So I hope if you're pregnant right now that things will get a little bit easier, because the first trimester was definitely harder for me than the second. And I'm in the middle of the third. I will, of course, come back and let you know about the 5 most common pregnancy symptoms during the third trimester as soon as I finish. But for all you mamas out there, stay strong. If you're in the second trimester, it means that you're at least a third through, if not 2/3 of the way through. You're getting there. And until next time, bisous.